Do you remember your most embarrassing or shocking moment on the radio?
Of course I remember my most embarrassing moment on the radio. Absolutely. I was at KTSU, which is a radio station in Houston, Texas, on the campus of Texas Southern University. And they had a show for kids back in the day called Kids Jam. And I was probably about 15 years old at the time. And there was a song called My Posse on Broadway by Sir Mix-a-Lot. My posse on Broadway, posse up. But they had a remix, and nobody had the remix except for Magic 102 in Houston, which was like the mainstream radio station. It's still #1 in Houston to this day. And I recorded on my cassette deck My Posse on Broadway by Sir Mix-a-Lot, the remix, so that I could then go to KTSU and play the remix that nobody had. The only problem is when I played the song on the radio from the cassette, before I could turn the cassette off, the man said, Magic 102.3. And it was like the wrong radio station, obviously. I was working for KTSU, and it was the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to me in my radio career. And I thought that they were going to get rid of me, but I had a woman named Deidre Ward who was over me. She was our program director and the general manager, and she pulled me in the office, and she said, don't you dare think that this one mistake is taking you out of radio. She said, everybody makes mistakes. You're good at what you do. You will be really big one day in radio, and this will not define who you are. So you chalk those tears up, you forget about what everybody is saying about you right now, and you go back on the radio. I said, I don't want to go back on. She said, but you will. You go back on the radio and you continue to do the job that you will. This won't be the only mistake you make. And she made me go back on the radio in all my tears and all my embarrassment and continue the show. And so today I don't really get embarrassed by much.
You know, what people don't know, I grew up around 8 uncles. And so I learned how to play dominoes very early in life. And if you can imagine what 8 uncles would be like together playing dominoes, there was always something, a slang for this and a slang for that. And, you know, so we're out at a remote. It was Cliff Winston, Rodney Perry, and we were interviewing this man that wanted to make dominoes into the tournament like, you know, they do poker. So they're playing dominoes, and Cliff and I are commentating, and I see what's getting ready to happen. When you're a real domino player, you know what's getting ready to get played, right? And you're gonna slam it on the desk, you do all this thing. So I had it in my mind. I knew what I was gonna say, but I knew I couldn't say what my uncle said. I would have to edit it. But somewhere between doing that, it didn't. And so live on the air, I said, there are 3 switching. And I died. I had an out-of-body experience. I ran out of my body. I looked at myself and did you just say that live on the air? Ran back into my body and called Andre Russell right away and said, I'm going to be fired. Like, people are going to call and they're going to ask that I be, you know, let go, and she needs to be off the air. And we didn't get not one call about it. One lady came to the where we were, and she said, I heard what you said, you know, and that was it. But it was okay. It was okay.
Embarrassing or shocking moments? Probably when we first learned Zeta, don't tell Tim. Shh. I mean, I was messing up the show for real. Like, it won't make any sense to you, but if you touch the board and you know, if you trap that music into a spot block, it's over. It's a wrap. So Tim, I love you. Shout out to Tim Coates, our engineer. But it was a major learning curve. And that was embarrassing for me because, again, I take challenges well, but this was a stickler. And I've hung up on people a few times. So, oh, and I did leave the mic on one time. I didn't say anything bad. I don't roll like that. but yeah, that's not something you want to do in radio. Besides having dead air, I've never had dead air on purpose. But yeah, I did hang up on a few people instead of. It's okay. What's one topic or cause that you push for at KJLH that you're proud of?
The great thing about working for KJLH is that our management is extremely open to all causes that we deem that are important. You know, it's not like we go to like having to pitch it or whatever. Our management is really about community. When we say committed to community, we really are that. And so I really enjoy talking to our seniors and finding out the things that they need. They are often forgotten, and many of you know I care for my mother, Jessie. So caregiving, those that care for the ones we love, they're very important to me too. So being able to champion for them and figure out ways for them to learn more about how to care for their loved one is important to me. I know how I feel about my mother, so every time I talk to a caregiver, I imagine how they feel about their loved one. And that loved one needing someone to step in, because seniors, so many times I've been in line, in the pharmacy line, getting ready to get my mom's prescription, and see a pharmacist or a clerk push them aside because they don't understand that their health care or their insurance isn't paying for this. And they just give them a number like, go call. Well, these seniors sometimes don't understand how to do that. And so to really rally for our seniors and advocate for them, and to kind of step in where we can, whether it's on the mic or we just in line at the CVS.
I'll shift the proud to passionate, because I would say that for me, it's the platform of domestic violence. Domestic violence is very important to me. A lot of people don't know this. They don't know my story. That's my background. I'm a product of a home of domestic violence. I'm a survivor, is what I like to call it. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the journey. I'm proud of rising above. And so that is a topic that I like to elevate on my show. I like to make sure folks know October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. It is important to me that we are paying attention to sharing what the signs are, because a lot of times they're not there. It is important that we're advocating as women, that we are taking the time to empower each other to share what signs are and what the not so subtle signs are. And so I feel like when I'm behind that mic, I'm playing music again, but that's my platform. It's a stage. It's such a blessing to be able to sit behind that mic, because I am able to connect with our listeners, my community. And so elevating the issues around domestic violence awareness and mental health, is very important to me, especially mental health.
I guess an initiative that I started on the front page, and it's still, a fairly new show. We've only been at it for 2 months, but we're now doing a feature called Minority Business Monday. And that was something that was just supposed to be, just a feature for a week or so. And we just loved it so much that we just kept it going. And I feel like people have responded really positively to it. I've heard we'll have like 5 small business owners, minority business owners in every Monday. And one of the business owners told us that she sold out of all of her product right after appearing on the front page. So, I was talking with the small business owners this morning, and they were showing me Instagram, follows and messages that they had received. They're getting, real response from that initiative. So that feels really good to be doing something positive in the community in that way.
I think reparations is a huge community response that we talk about, and that I've kind of been a champion of since the reparations committee began in Los Angeles. So that's a huge one for me. I also believe that telling the truth about who Black men are has been really big for me. I'm really big on giving a positive light on Black men, because the rest of the world sees us as this, not sees us, but sees our Black men as what the media has created over the decades and the centuries. And I know, because I deal with Black men, that that's not who they are at heart. They take some of these circumstances that are negative and they put them in the media, and then it becomes the definition of who Black men are. But the Black men I know take care of their children. The Black men that I know have jobs. The Black men that I know participate in the community. The Black men that I know prop up the Black woman. The Black men that I know are respectful, they follow rules, they're educated. So the fact that the rest of the world doesn't see that sends me on a tailspin to use my platform to make sure that Black men are acknowledged in the proper rights.
We step in, and I think that's the great thing about all of us as women here at KJLH. It's not just about the microphone. When we're sisters, we're sisters out in the community. It's not like I'm your sister here on on the mic this morning. No, when we're out and about, you see us and you know, like, that's my sister. I can come up to her. I can ask her for help. And that's what we really want everybody to know that. And I think they feel that. I think they feel that.